Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Everybody Eats Show. Man, so I love doing these episodes. So today we are here with the founder of Young Investors Group. So we're excited to have you. Thank you very much. I guess before we get started, housekeeping items. If you're not following us already, make sure that you're following us on all platforms at Everybody Eats Show on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you're checking out Everybody Eats Show for our new episodes. If you're in the 757 area, make sure you're paying attention to our Instagram. We have some events coming up.
Turn on post notifications.
Yeah.
Follow, share with your friends.
All that good stuff. Make sure you're watching our stories, posts, all that good stuff. We have an event that we're planning. It's going to be really dope. So again, if you're in the 757 area, make sure you pop out. And even if you're not in the 757 area, come on down, right? Like, it doesn't even matter. So that's housekeeping items. So let's get into today's guest, right? So before we start, I like to say how we meet our guests, right? So in-person events. Shout out to NABA. I shout out NABA a bunch on this podcast. We shout out NABA a bunch on this podcast. So this was, I think, our June happy hour. We're in August right now.
Yeah, I think it was June. Or was it May?
May or June?
It was May.
It was May?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, because June was close to school. And, yep.
But we were at Luna Maya.
Yep,
in
downtown Norfolk.
Out at downtown Norfolk. We're doing one of our social hours for NABA. And I don't know, we were there. Kezia walked in.
Yeah.
Right? And then we just started talking. What do you do? What do you do? Blah, 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 blah. Nonprofit podcast. Oh, we should do an episode together. Oh, lit. Blah, blah, blah. Couple, I don't know, weeks, months later, we're at ACAP, right? So we're at the ACAP program, and then we like caught up again. We're like, hey, like definitely got to make sure we do an episode. And here we are doing the episode. So in-person events, DMs, Instagram,
staying on it.
Yeah,
staying
emails,
on it.
All that stuff. You never know how you're gonna meet people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we met, and here we are. So I don't know, networking, it really works, right? So that's how we're here, and then we'll get into today's episode. So Kezia, if you could take it away, introduce yourself. What do you do? Where are you from? And we'll get started.
Okay, for sure. Well, my name is Kezia Hendricks. I am the founder and executive director for Young Investors Group. And we are a youth organization that teaches fintech. We started out just teaching financial literacy, but as time went on, we were like, okay, no one's writing checks anymore. We really gotta, make sure our young people understand financial literacy from where they are, which now, Cash App and Zelle and everything. So teaching kids financial education from that standpoint versus teaching them the old way, we found that wouldn't help close the gap, specifically for Black families. And so Young Investors Group is in existence today. So I'm super excited. We're 5 years old. So we're in kindergarten, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I mean? We're in kindergarten. We started out in 2018. We weren't a nonprofit when we started out. Okay. It was me having the goal to help young African-American youth stay out of the criminal justice system. Okay. So that's how I started, because my background is finances, and I'm like, God, I don't play basketball, I don't play football. What? No, I do rap. I do rap. Don't get me. Right. I had a couple of freestyles last night. Okay.
We'll get to that. We'll get to
that. We will. But like, I was like, God, how can I reach them? How can I help these young men that are targeted toward the prison pipeline? Like, what can I do? And he was like, you can teach them about money. I was like, bet, I'll teach them about money. So, I went into the community, relocated into that community where I would say about 95% of those youth were vulnerable to incarceration. And so just started spending time with them, spending time with their families. And I was like, yo, meet me at the library. You want to learn about money? I got food. I got snacks and prizes.
Free food always gets people.
Right. Meet me, okay? Every Tuesday and Wednesday. And we just grew from there. The young men had an opportunity to help sell a home. open up brokerage accounts, start businesses. They had a chance to, ride in helicopters and, do photo shoots in private jets and everything. So we wanted to rebrand them, as not just boys on the block, but investors and investors in their community. So we not only rebrand them to the community, but considering, they were doing some things they weren't supposed to do, they were getting in trouble. And so sometimes when you see a different image of yourself, you know what I mean, and the possibilities that you can, achieve, you make different choices in life. Like you value yourself. I can remember asking a young man, how much are you worth? They're like, oh, I'm $100. I'm 1,000. And we taught them about net worth. Now they look at different choices a lot differently from a financial standpoint, as well as investing in yourself. So I ain't gonna, what I'm saying, overtake the show, but that's, the gist. Oh wait, I forgot. I thought we were sharing the
Totally about the young investors group.
Yeah, young
It's about
investors
us.
group. And go ahead.
I did have just a question
Yeah.
about the fintech portion of it, like you
Right.
know, like Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, all those money transfer apps. Like,
Absolutely.
is it just within money transfer? Do you teach them like how to hop on like an exchange, like Robinhood or Ameritrade,
Yeah.
Schwab, all that stuff?
You did mention brokerage accounts. I heard you.
Yeah. So there's different because we're 5 years old, and when you start a nonprofit, prior to starting a nonprofit, it's always good to do research and have pilot programs. And so I would say that's why I say we're in kindergarten. For the past 5 years, we have taught them a plethora of curriculum to see how they learn. We started teaching them about like the general financial education, and then we did teach them about the smart stock market and the brokerage accounts. But what we learned is that information didn't stick because we had to drill it down just a little bit more. So we could pour information on them, but what we had to do was we had to go back and teach them about entrepreneurship to even get to investments, right? And then that's when we started teaching the accounting and the bookkeeping, because when you look at a company, the best way to tell if that company is a good company to invest in is look at their tax documents. So, we initially taught them, how to choose their stock, what to choose, how, what I mean, how to look at a company. But we had to go back and go into detail and teach them some of the basics. And that was after they opened up brokerage accounts. We were just like, throwing fish, throwing we call it a fish hook, thank you, out in the water. I told you about this mommy brain earlier.
I know throwing spaghetti on the wall,
Thank
seeing
you.
what sticks.
That was easier. We was throwing spaghetti on the wall, be like, okay, yeah, like look at this stock. What's your favorite? Because we started teaching them about like what brands do you already support?
Yeah.
Like what are you already into, right? And specifically young people, we call them Main Street and Wall Street kids, but specifically kids that are Main Street, right, that come from like low income public housing. Like sometimes you have to teach them, they don't oftentimes be interested as you know what I'm saying, other kids. So we had to like go to where they were, like, yo, these Jordans, you gonna flip this money, you know what I mean, like it's gonna be worth, give it some time. With this generation, they also like instant gratification. So teaching the stock market sometimes can be a little bit challenging.
It's a long game.
Yeah, because you got to teach them how that long game work.
I think what I think one point I really like agree with is the relating to the Main Street and the Wall Street kids. A lot of, from what I've seen, there are a lot of organizations and initiatives and programs or whatever. You can give all you want and invest all the money you want into the communities to help enrich these kids and give them the opportunity, but the way they digest things really is what makes that will go further than you could waste $10,000 on a program and only have like 4 students out of 5,000 who really learn something. And I really, especially through like personal experience and hearing stories, like it's more about the quality of the curriculum you're bringing to them, and who's representing that to them, like who's giving that to them. Is it someone they can relate to, or is it someone who doesn't look like them or anything,
Yeah.
So that like I really agree with. And from your like experience with like stock market didn't stick, so we have to go backtrack, teach them about entrepreneurism and whatnot. How has that influenced the way you guys go about rolling out different projects or teaching a series to different like age groups?
Yeah, different age groups. So what we have done is we do a focus group. It's nothing about us without us. We have a lot of organizations out there, that are different cultures that try to come up with programming for us, and oftentimes because you don't really study or get the input for those that are involved, you oftentimes it doesn't stick, like you said. And that's actually one of the things that I have coming up, teaching people how to do youth programming, because ultimately Young Investors Group can't do it. We can't do all. It's a lot of kids. I mean, you remember all them kids and the ACAP? It was what, 30 of them?
Yeah, 30.
Like, one organization cannot support all of the youth, right? And so one of the things that I am doing is teaching those that are interested in learning how to get the kids' attention, teach them to where it's palatable, that they can do that. And to answer your question, we basically have them come to the table and we tell them, this is what we want you to learn. And we, show them different concepts, and we find out which one is more interesting to them or which one they understand. We've actually, our first year going to elementary school was this past school year, but we had 40 rising middle schoolers, which are fifth grade, because different grades have different middle school, high, elementary school. But we, for the first time, went to rising middle schoolers and just experiencing that. So I think a lot of times it's always a good idea to just test the market, like with anything, and see what the kids are interested in, and then have them have input into the process.
So you keep saying we, right? So who is we?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a serious team.
Serious, yes. So I have a whole board. Ultimately, like I talked to you about before, Young Investors Group, yes, God gave me that vision, but it does not belong to me. It belongs to the community. And I think a lot of people, when they start a nonprofit, especially youth programs, they feel like you own it. Like, you own a LLC, you own a sole proprietor. A nonprofit is a community entity. It's supposed to be something that solves a problem in the community. So we is my 11 board members and my team of education, my education team, and all of the volunteers, the community that participates with Young Investors Group.
Okay, so then I'm curious, so how do you have the educators, you have like the curriculum, so I guess like how do you create the curriculum? And I know you kind of just mentioned like teaching it, right? Like you kind of have to have a passion for that. That's something like I'm pretty strong about too. Like you can know stuff, you can know finance, you can know stocks. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be good at teaching it, right? Like that's a completely different skill, right? Ooh. So I guess where do you find the educators, and like I guess how do you guys go work on that? Making sure that it is digestible for the kids to understand.
Absolutely, and you make a very good point. So I think one of the hardest things to find are because we teach financial education from a professional standpoint. Most financial education youth organizations teach, from a consumer, this is how you manage your checkbook, this is how you save, so because my background is mortgage underwriting, right? And I was a loan officer, I was a financial counselor, I was a personal banker, a business banker. Let me just pull back for 2 seconds. I came from very humble beginnings. I was a 15-year-old mother. I have 11 siblings. I was raised a lot of my life in public housing. My mom was a single parent of 12 children, plus the one that I had when I had F15. And so the trajectory of my life, amongst other bad choices that I made as a teenager. Did not look like where I am today. Like, I definitely am not supposed to be, founding a nonprofit, a mortgage underwriter, and actually now I work, I have a team of financial coaches. This is my full time, with the Workforce Council. But I'm definitely not supposed to be where I am. So I think a lot of my ability to relate to the kids or teach them is because I was them. And so when I got into the financial industry, I was like, why nobody didn't teach me this? Right. I learned the most managing other people's accounts. Like, I remember this one lady, she had like 8 kids and she had like $5,000 in her bank account, her savings account. She, was making like $12 an hour. And I asked her, I said, how did you get all this money in your account? She said, saving is a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, I actually learned how to save from managing someone else's account that made way less money than I did. So I think that teaching young people not from a consumer, but as a professional actually works better because they actually get hands-on experience. Last year we did budget. Our fifth graders were budget analysts. So we had, volunteer customers. So shout out to all of our volunteer customers out there that came, out, and they were a customer for our young people. They actually came and they sat down and they got their budgets done by our young people. And now now some of those young people went home and did budgets for their parents. So when it was time for the end of the session ceremony, they like, I had to find out what my child was doing, because they then came home and did my whole budget. So yeah, absolutely. Even with the youth that we started out with, they helped sold a home. Shout out to James Allen Group, which is a real estate brokerage. They were our first partners. They came and they taught the youth the layout of the house, understanding real estate, passive income, and they had a chance to go into a house, have customers come in, they showed them the house and the household. And of course the kids got a stipend, from the sale of the house, right? They balling up in here. And so now those young people that live in public housing, like I lived in public housing, they get exposed to home ownership because they help sell that. So they understand the whole process. Like they understand, like, the sale of the house, like the original cost of the house, how to share the information about the house. So I think teaching them from a consumer is great, but I learn by doing, and young people do too.
So you mentioned real estate, you mentioned brokerage accounts, you said photo shoot on a private jet.
You trying to be
sound like they live in Diddy's lifestyle, bro.
Man, I like to invest. Like, what you talking about? So I'm assuming like these are all like partners. Like I guess like how do you come up with this, and like I guess who's helping you out? Is that like it's internal? Is that the external partners you're partnering with? You just mentioned like that real estate firm. So yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be straight up. God deposits. So that's my number one help. He literally deposits things into my spirit. Additional to that, we ask the young people. So we get their input into what they would like to see, as well as we have a team of educators and people that are a part of our program, that we all collectively say, like, I'll drop an idea or someone will drop an idea. It was like, oh, we could do this with this. So we just as a team come up with the end project, and then we build the curriculum from the end project so that we know exactly what we want them to learn. And so even with the technology, we're actually prayerfully at some point we'll get funding to expand the technology piece, because one of the things is young people do not like to be bored. I don't think anybody likes to be bored. I think old people don't like to be bored either. But especially young people, they get bored like really fast. And so the traditional way of teaching young people about maybe technology or even STEM, we choose not to go that route. We choose to go the route of teaching them technology to what they're already related to, which is social media. And so we were actually one of the recipients for Meta, aka Facebook/Instagram, and they donated scholarships for our young people to get certified in digital marketing. Digital marketing also includes automation. Digital marketing also includes when you deal with e-commerce, because a lot of people who have e-commerce, they have to like they digital marketing game got to be up, and you have to automate, especially if you're one man or one woman show.
For sure.
So yeah, so those are all the things that how we introduce technology versus, I mean, network security is great. We teach them about social engineering. We teach them about financial cybersecurity. We teach them all of those things, and that's how we integrate technology into.
Okay, that was everything I was gonna ask later.
Okay,
So that is dope. You know, no, it is good. You covered it. You know, even everything down to scams, which
Yeah.
you know, you can't believe banks and people are actually sending like emails and like how to avoid like getting scams and fraud and all that. So that's like pretty crazy. Do you ever see you guys scaling up to do anything else, like maybe coding or like anything more within like, I guess, more tech specific, I should say, rather than finance? I know you said you started off finance, now you're moving on into fintech.
Right.
So, you know, if we have a Venn diagram, right? You guys,
Yeah.
you're on the left, you're moving over. So do you see yourself getting anywhere to like, you know, like Python or, you know, teaching kids how to code or
Yeah,
anything, simple coding?
You know, I don't know that I do, and I'm gonna say because
Or even
I
giving
don't know.
resources. Let me not limit it to just
because
education.
one of the things that, and this is to your question, one of the things that as nonprofits we do that we shouldn't is do everything. And so if we do decide to go to coding, we're gonna get a partner, because our focus is finances, right? And although finances is technology, I think, you know, us teaching fintech from the cybersecurity side is probably more in line as far as like protecting clients, which, because we do it from a professional standpoint, educating clients, you know, their customer client, their volunteer clients, about how to protect their accounts, and helping them understand how gaming is integrated with scams, like you said, how you know, social engineering, social media, you posting stuff, you tagging your location, all of that actually can impact your finances. And so we should merge into the coding space. I just, you know, we have probably about 4 tech people on our team, so I'm not going to speak and on our board. So I'm not gonna speak. They probably will integrate it, but me, I'm focused on the finances. I'm focused on the finances. So probably so. I would imagine at some point we will.
So I guess kind of like to add to that question, what would you say like 5-year, 10-year goals, and yeah, like where do you see Investors Group going in the future?
Absolutely. So I actually would love to see Young Investors Group have a tech center, a fintech center. I think that money. I don't know if y'all heard about Fed Now.
Yeah, that's the
Fed now, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Their
just
coin digital.
yeah, their digital currency. That's gonna be interesting. I think I have an idea of what they're gonna do. I'm sorry. Let's stick to the question. Stick to the answer. But because you know they like to introduce things to people in a way that you have no choice.
Yeah.
You want more control of your money. That's essentially what they're doing.
We look up. They be talking about your tax return got to come through Fed Now. But anyway, let me not get them ideas. But so yeah, I would love for Young Investors Group to expand to multiple cities in the state of Virginia. We have had, during the pandemic, we had youth that were in other states, but I feel like if you can conquer your state, it starts there. I mean, that's how the colonizers did it, right? They didn't like try to manage slaves in like Texas. They managed the slaves here, right? So I ultimately, in the system of America, in the system of business, I think it's better to like really hone in where we are, and then maybe I would say maybe in 5 years we would go to another state, but I would say within the next 5 years I would like for Young Investors Group to be almost in every urban city, where young people are, and that where young people are vulnerable to things like poverty and violence and incarceration, that they have the opportunity to value themselves and understand what that looks like from a financial and or career perspective.
All right. So for the quote of the day, Edom's gonna bless us with a quote. Take us away.
Back. Okay, so today's quote: no cheating. Coincidence is the language of God. Gratitude is his currency. Feel like I used this one, but
That sounds good.
Listeners can
I don't know,
correct
I feel
us,
like
but-
I've heard that before, but I have no clue.
might have been from here, bro. So one more time: coincidence is the language of God. Gratitude is his currency. The person who I heard said it was off a podcast. He is from Staten Island. He's an actor.
Is he a brother?
Yes. He was in 90210, Secret Life of Bees, Praise This recently.
Michael B?
No. But I mean, Michael B. He did star in a show with Michael B.
Method Man?
No.
Chadman
The-
Boswick?
No. All right. He did a show called The Wire. At the
Oh
latest
my
seasons.
gosh.
From Staten
I
Island.
just
You're not allowed to guess.
watched,
You're not
but
allowed
Michael
to
B. Jordan was in The Wire.
Yes, but he was in the earlier season. I'm thinking think later seasons of The Wire.
Idris Elba.
No.
You said Staten Island?
Staten Island. From Staten Island.
No, Idris Elba's not from Staten Island.
From Staten Island. He was
Oh
in
my
The Wire.
gosh.
Did Praise
Can
This, which dropped
Can
recently.
Can I phone a friend?
No.
Can I call what is it on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It'd be like
Hotline.
Lifeline.
Lifeline. What else?
This is the
Dude on The Wire.
Yeah, the dude on the wire. The dude on the wire.
Oh my
Dude
gosh.
On The Wire, his name was Michael.
Oh God! I just watched this
Is
episode.
the light skin dude that's on the podcast?
Babe, are you watching this? Can you please text me the answer? Please. Text message.
That's crazy. He's on the podcast with Mouse? That dude?
What's his name? I don't know his name. See y'all. You gotta.
90210,
Okay,
The Wire.
90210. Oh. Gosh, that was a long time ago.
Crazy.
And I
All
should
right.
know this because I think I'm probably.
5, 4,
Can you tell me what the initials are?
Wild?
2.
Can I get some initials? Some
T-
clues.
I gave you clues. What do you?
Some real clues.
All the clues I got.
Mac Wild.
There you go.
Mac Wild.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know his real a full name. He goes by Tristan Mac Wilds or Mac Wilds or whatever.
Wow.
But yeah.
Okay.
Would you have gotten that?
No.
Oh.
You had to do something a little more mainstream, bro. Right. DMX. Tupac.
but that was a deep quote.
It was. Can you give it to me again? I can.
Coincidence is the language of God. Gratitude is his currency.
Wow. That's amazing.
You go first since you want to have the poll.
Yeah. So I think about all the kind of even I guess the most relatable way to put it now is when you talk about something, right? And your phone all of a sudden gives you an ad on it, or you see something about it on Instagram and whatnot. Well, conversely, no. I know. Of course. But I'm saying in so people get it, God, it's similar. Obviously they copied God, right? But
Right.
But you think about something, you ask, you pray for something, and sometimes people might take it as a coincidence. Let's say you hear about something one week, or you pray about something earlier in the week, and then later in the week you get that opportunity or something else that can link you to that opportunity happens, and you might take that as chalk it up to simple coincidence, but 9 out of 10 times or 10 out of 10 times, sorry, that is God. Probably just working in your life and you don't even realize it. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
you got to give gratitude. So
for sure.
100%. We've seen that happen in our lives since college.
Yeah.
And we've sometimes it's kind of creepy in a good way though.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like literally you speak about like, yo, Edom, like we should do an episode with a real estate person. Next day, Instagram, ooh, you know, it's like, oh,
hey, I'm
real
trying to
estate
do
in the
it.
757 area. I'd love to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. You know, it's like thank you, but also like you listening. Like, you know, it's like you gotta be careful what you wish for sometimes. 'Cause you might get it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, are you ready for that? But then the second half was like, you said the first half was said coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
You said God's currency, appreciation.
So it says
And
coincidence
gratitude.
is the language of God. Gratitude is His currency.
Gratitude is his currency, yeah. And you have to be thankful for all the opportunities that you have. And you just have to be grateful because there's a lot of people who don't have those opportunities. Even to, I don't know, simply do a podcast here, right? Like,
Yeah.
This is an opportunity, like learning from each other, networking, meeting each other.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who wish that they could do something cool like this, you know, and they don't. You know, and that's not to shove in their faces, but that's to be grateful for the opportunities that you have. So.
Absolutely. Well, since it is Sunday and we are talking about God, let me put my preacher voice on. But no, seriously, I love that quote because, you know, I am a spiritual person and I think that everything is energy, right? Everything is the coincidence is driven by what you manifest, whether it's verbally or even your thoughts. And gratitude is an area that is what I use when I'm feeling like very crappy. I mean, when you run a nonprofit like Young Investors Group, like you have to stay on a high vibration because you are working in, you know, when you deal with people that are in need. So gratitude definitely is one of the tools that I use to draw more positive coincidences. So shout out to Tristan.
For sure.
And one more time
back.
for the audience, people forgot. Coincidence is the language of God, and gratitude is His currency.
Amen. All right.
And the church say, amen. Where the tamarines at?
Sing it for us, Edom. How great.
Great is our God.
Sing it for us.
Sing with me, how great.
Sopranos. Is our God. Y'all didn't come here to play with me today. I promise you.
Do you have a would you rather or not?
Oh yes. Okay. So I just have one.
Okay.
Let me think about it. Make sure I have it right, man. Okay. So, would you rather give up internet, right, or give up AC heating, including your?
For the last event.
Did we really?
Yeah. Do that.
I can answer.
All right, I'll do another one. But all right, would you rather go up internet or your heating and AC, including your fan?
I'd probably go to internet.
You would rather give up internet.
Yeah, I could give up internet.
Why?
For the very reason that I can manifest more gratitude and hear God's voice. Because I do that often. I unplug and I feel like that, you know, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him and He'll direct my path. And literally, I think that He'll direct my path. And I don't know, like, I came from when I grew up, we didn't have TV and stuff. So every now and then I will shut things down and just use my creativity. I think it would manifest more creativity.
Okay. Second question, which is new for
The whole world.
hopefully, yeah. Well, honestly, all our listeners. Would you rather have to bike everywhere or be forced to take public transportation?
I'm taking public transportation. I'm
Yeah.
not biking anywhere.
Yeah, I think
It's
I'm
hot
going
outside.
public transportation.
It's
Yeah.
hot outside.
Oh no, let me throw a wrench in there. Public transportation though?
Yeah.
Like
I
have
went from
you
New York,
said-
so we
Yeah.
done this.
Oh.
Like, we seen how dirty it can get.
That's fine with me, bro.
I'll never forget the homeless man we saw on the. Oh my goodness, we were going somewhere on a Saturday, and we were already late. In the corner of a train, we got on the train car as the E train. It runs, less frequently during the weekend. So we get into a train running. I noticed something off about it that like everybody's on one side of the train, but I'm like, whatever. We get in, homeless guy sleeping on the left hand side of the train. We're like, oh gosh, stunk up the entire cart.
Nah,
Next
I'm biking.
stop, we get off, jump on the next train car. Homeless dude with a giant polar bear looking dog thing. Same
I'm biking.
situation.
I'm biking. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was in college, I had my daughter. We biked everywhere we went. I put her on the little seat on the back, and we biked to the store everywhere. I got real creative. I think biking, I can control where I want to go when I want to go, and of course that was in Texas, so it's real hot in Texas.
Oh yeah, gotta speak.
So yeah, exactly. Y'all from New York, y'all can't stand the heat. Y'all can't stand the heat.
I was in Texas like 2 weeks ago. That heat is insane. No.
So I'm gonna bike because the sun is gonna be amazing. It's gonna give me life. So I will, and I'm gonna be physically fit instead of on a train with people you don't know, especially with COVID. With COVID though, like with COVID and coughs and colds and.
I didn't catch
Next to
COVID
people?
off bus or off public transportation.
I'm just saying. Exactly.
But
I'm
Gave it to me.
biking.
what are you doing?
Oh no, I'm taking public transportation. Hands down.
Yeah.
Mike, what you doing? You biking in public transportation? You
Biking?
You gotta work on your like RBF or you're just your mean face so people don't sit near you. And there you're good. You're good.
And if they're racist, they won't sit next to you because you're black. That's the best part.
Oh my gosh, that is
When you sit
hilarious.
down and they look at you and they don't want to sit. Now you got both seats to yourself. Thank you.
Y'all funny. Nah, I'm good. I'll bike. I mean, you don't control, like somebody else is driving you.
Like that's the point. I'm being chauffeured. Yeah, I had to pay $275 for it, but I'm still getting chauffeured.
Okay, being chauffeur versus having healthy body.
It's like I went to my car. It said like 110.
Well, it's been my
Wear an ice pack.
No, or staying clear of the closing doors. Like, I was sitting right. I was waiting, bro. Next stop, Times Square. Yeah, I'll wait.
I'm there already. That's what's up. I like that one.
These are on. I'll wave to you on the bus while you on the
While I'm
bike.
biking.
Yeah.
Bet.
I'll wave to you.
All right, that's all I got for this segment.
All right, that's all I got. All right, so back to the episode. So last segment, kind of just wrap up that conversation. What was I asking before we jumped? I was asking about impact, right? You've been doing this for 5 years, right? You mentioned we talking about real estate, we talking about brokers, talking about helping them stay out of jail. That's a lot of impact, right? That's a lot. I'm sure you've seen people grow. I'm sure you've seen people change. There's a lot going on. So you, Kezia, right? What has been the most impactful moment, your favorite moment, something that brought a tear to your eye? Like, I did that, right?
Yeah.
So like, what is that moment or moments?
Okay, so I think I have a couple. The first moment was when we did the photo shoot for the young people that were vulnerable to incarceration based on because of where they lived. They had never worn a suit. And so I remember going and taking them. This was before I had a full team. Taking them to the to the tailor, right? It was Upscales Men Fashion. Shout out to them. They hooked us up with suits for all 15 of the young men, and we got watches donated from Tally and Twine. Shout out to Tally and Twine.
We had them on the podcast.
Yes. He was another partner. He donated watches to each one of the young men. And the day of the photo shoot, they were like, a lot of them were like, I feel like somebody. Like, I feel good. And we're like, you supposed to feel like, I'm getting chills thinking about it. You're supposed to feel like somebody every day. Right. And so just making that impact and making them feel good about themselves. Because even some of the adults in the community would say mean and nasty things about the young men because the young men had been doing a lot of stuff in the community. Oh, after we did that photo shoot, like they were being praised. Like they felt it was a total different change.